Hey guys, how's it going? I am WWE Hall of Famer Lita, welcoming you to General Admission Wrestling.
Stefford Drummond, man. He doesn't know how I treat all the people who support me. He doesn't like that. He doesn't realize that just because he shut everyone out of his life, it doesn't mean that we all have to. But that's how people like him think. Like if he can't find a true personal connection, then no one really has one. Well, if I can't teach him how to have a genuine personal connection, I can show him that those of us that do have people that love us that can fight harder and longer than he can. In the main event, I want Stefford Drummond in that ring to back up everything he says.
First off, you don't run nothing. All talking, no team bluffing.
Hey folks, welcome to GAW Dark. And yes, that is a confirmed main event. Max Ultimate versus Stefford Drummond. That is coming after weeks of the two have traded shots. And I gotta say, as someone who has called Max Ultimates every match in GAW, watching him go from the debuting rookie to now, seeing the maturation process, I'm proud to see that he is willing to put his hands on this and say, you know what, I am not going to back down. So that main event is coming up, and I can't wait. So this is a pretty new tag team here, Xavier Cross and Chandler Marcy. We saw them, their maiden voyage as a team last week right here on Dark. They took on Island Nation, and they actually showed out in that match. They were pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. Island Nation did end up picking up the victory, but that's a team that's been together for a long time, and certainly one of GAW's top up-and-coming teams. And Cross&Marcy looked awfully good against them last week. Camel clutch here, and look at Xavier Cross. Doesn't even link the hands with that S-grip. He just grinds them right into the eyes, and Seth Woods, he's going to need some time here. Into the corner he goes and lands. I don't know if Seth was looking for a tag or what was going on there. Lance hopped off the apron when it looked like Seth Woods needed a tag after getting his eyes attacked by Xavier Cross. Lance Woods still in the match, though. Cross is certainly the veteran of the two on his team. Deadlift, German suplex, and the bridge as well. Marcy is in, and Xavier Cross kicks out, doesn't even need the services of Chandler Marcy. Cross has been in the sport for a few years now, been a former tag team champion as well. The two know each other based off their time in Second City Wrestling over in Chicago. Xavier Cross was one of the top dogs there, and Chandler Marcy came by to train briefly, so the two got to know each other. Xavier Cross is a former tag team champion over in Second City Wrestling. Actually, one of his former tag partners is here as well in GAW, currently working through an injury, so hopefully we'll get to see him fairly soon. So Xavier Cross deciding to team up with Chandler Marcy, given their past relationship, and Seth Woods spinning heel kick right to the jaw, and immediately Cross in trouble. Marcy is there, and Marcy breaks things up. Sharp elbow to the jaw of Seth Woods, and Lance trying to get in to tussle with Chandler Marcy. It's not going to happen. Referee telling him to get out of the ring right now. Xavier Cross will need a tag at some point, but does he feel like he can get the upper hand before he does so? This is a tag team veteran. Maybe not so much like Seth Woods. He hasn't quite spent as much time in the tag arena as Seth Woods, but certainly more time than Xavier Cross, or than Chandler Marcy rather. So we'll see what Cross actually is able to do here, working against a bigger Seth Woods. And you can see the effects of that size and strength. Posted him up with that scoop slam, but Xavier Cross still fighting here, and Irish whip into the corner he goes. Cross maybe looking for a tag into Marcy, but Seth Woods powers his way out of it. Marcy is an incredibly dangerous opponent, even though he is not experienced in the realm of tag team wrestling. You can bet that Lance and Seth know that very well. Seth Woods again with that spinning heel kick. Oh my God, he caught Xavier Cross right underneath the chin, and Seth Woods, as Lance stops the involvement of Chandler Marcy, Seth Woods somehow pulls out the victory. And that's what GAW Dark is all about. This was a very unconventional match. I think this was a match fought between two guys. Neither Lance nor Marcy ever got involved, except for Marcy to break up that spinning heel kick from Seth. And that is what we've seen from Seth Woods. Man's got confidence. The man feels like he is in the best shape of his life. And that's what he has done to Xavier Cross. So the Woods Club pick up a win after a bit of a losing streak that they were on there for a little while, but good for them. Everyone needs a win, and I'll tell you who needs a win is Drew McIntyre, and he's coming up fighting a former Intercontinental Champion. That's up next. Matt Hardy enjoyed an Intercontinental Championship reign back in Season 1. You can go check out how that all went over on our website, generaladmissionwrestling.com. We have full title histories of all of our championships dating back to 2005, and Matt Hardy won the Rumble on the Beach, earned himself an Intercontinental Championship shot, and he converted on that. Bandito just did the same when he beat Bobby Lashley, and Bandito will have himself an Intercontinental Championship match come this Friday. Will Ospreay can make it a very short reign for Bandito, and he's done it before. Ospreay is the man who unseated Matt Hardy back at Winterfest last year in 2020. Matt Hardy actually, or I should say Will Ospreay, through that match, unified the Intercontinental and Cruiserweight Championships. So Matt Hardy's reign ends up at 140 days, 2 successful defenses, one at Cyclone Denver, one on, at that time, Wednesday Night Storm, and then it culminates with Will Ospreay defeating him at Winterfest. Drew McIntyre himself is a former Intercontinental Champion. He actually has a nearly 1 year-long reign to his name. During that reign, he actually beat several now former Intercontinental Champions, including our current one. He did beat Bandito at a special storm emanating from Rio. He beat Bobby Lashley. He beat Kofi Kingston. He beat Adam Cole. And what's interesting about Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, the two have battled for a while, specifically over the Intercontinental Championship. In fact, it was Bobby Lashley who Drew McIntyre actually beat for the Intercontinental Championship back in 2019. That was at Starstruck. So McIntyre has a little bit of a history when it comes to battling Lashley for the white belt. But the two never actually fought during Lashley's last reign. Lashley had 7 successful defenses of the Intercontinental Championship in just over 200 days as champ, and none of them were against Drew McIntyre. So a lot of people were hoping that McIntyre would be able to renew that rivalry, and maybe he still means to. Matt Hardy would be a pretty good opponent to announce his intentions against if you are Drew McIntyre. We know that McIntyre has been embroiled in a rivalry with Damian Martinez. McIntyre and Jay White have been involved with Damian Martinez since Martinez debuted on Friday Night Storm. So it's been kind of an interesting run for Damian Martinez. He did beat Drew McIntyre in singles competition, but still yet to get his hands on Jay White as revenge. Matt Hardy, though, just looking to get back on top here after that Intercontinental Championship reign came to an end at the hands of Will Ospreay. Matt Hardy has not been able to return to those heights. Indeed, he is 0-4 this year. Now, it's not dissimilar to how he began in season 1. Snap suplex and a float over. Here's the cover and a kick out. He also started his season 1 with a bit of a long losing streak. In fact, he had to go away for a little bit to reinvent himself. And of course, now we know that him reinventing himself means welcoming in Alpha and facilitating the rise of Alpha. But this season, I don't think that's going to be so much of an issue. Instead, I think Hardy just has to figure himself out in terms of what he's doing and who he wants to be, what he wants to do. The winless record so far not going to help him out very much. Drew McIntyre himself is actually just one world championship short of the famed GAW Triple Crown. That is Intercontinental / Cruiserweight, Tag Team, and World Championship gold. Only a select few men have done it, so Drew McIntyre hopes to be the next. The last one to do it successfully was, I believe, AJ Styles, if I'm remembering correctly. Kenny Omega, of course, the only holder of GAW's golden ring. That means Intercontinental, Cruiserweight, Tag Team, and World Championship belts in his GAW career. Side effect from Hardy. Drew McIntyre baited him into the ring and immediately regrets it. Cover here from Hardy, and McIntyre kicks out. It's amazing to think that Kenny Omega has won all 4 championships, and now that the Cruiserweight title is gone, only people who have already won that title are still able to win the golden ring. So that, in terms of active GAW competitors, that would include Pac, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, even Yun-Son Park. So still some guys out there who could possibly do it. McIntyre looking for a Claymore, and Matt Hardy out of the way. Interestingly enough, Rey Fenix could also do it. He was a Cruiserweight champion back in 2019. He's been a tag team champion already with the Lucha Brothers, so he's still very much in the mix. McIntyre looking for a big boot, but he turns around, pops Matt Hardy with that shot. We'll see what McIntyre can do in this situation here. We know the power that McIntyre possesses, but it looks like the side effect from Matt Hardy has a little bit of a side effect on McIntyre, and Hardy hits him again. Side effect number 2 on Drew McIntyre, and Matt Hardy knows exactly how to take advantage. Matt Hardy with his first win of season 2, and that is a wily veteran move there by Matt Hardy. McIntyre had him up onto the shoulders. His back gave out from the side effect, and Matt Hardy wasted no time. He wasted no time getting that done. That was phenomenal from Matt Hardy. You absolutely love to see that if you are a Matt Hardy fan, to see that maybe he is going to get back on track here. Matt Hardy himself is one world championship away from a GAW Triple Crown. So maybe he's got that on his mind. He's got a long way to go before he can consider himself up in that category, but maybe he might be able to do it. That's a big time win there for Matt Hardy. And when you talk about guys that are desperate for a singles win at this point, then you would talk about Scott Danielson, former Academy champion, but just like Hardy has not really been able to reach those heights since then. He's had a lot of opportunities in the Academy, 3-8 so far in season 2, but that number of matches, that's one of the highest singles match totals in the company. In fact, that's more singles matches than both the Academy Women's Champion and the Academy Champion. So he's had a lot of opportunities here, has Scott Danielson. So just like we always say on Dark, you can always turn yourself around with a big win here, with a little momentum building forward. We're going to see an example of that in the main event, so maybe Danielson can find some himself. Lars Nightfall's last impression in GAW Dark was beating the hell out of Isaiah Hannibal after their match last week. Hannibal went on to lose to Midnight for the Raw Championship this past Monday on Storm Chaser. How much did Lars Nightfall's attack have to do with that? I don't know. Isaiah Hannibal is famously tight-lipped about basically everything. So no one knows how much Lars Nightfall really played a part in that Raw title match, but it certainly couldn't have helped Isaiah Hannibal, and we have yet to get an answer from Nightfall himself. Now, he does have to go up against Jackal at the main event of Storm Chaser next Monday. Commissioner Jason Parker made that announcement just a couple days ago, so this is a tune-up match for Nightfall, but it's also an opportunity to see if maybe he just saw red that one time, or if maybe we're going to have to worry about Nightfall, because a man this big, you do not want unleashed. Eddie Hernandez was, of course, the man who brought in Lars Nightfall specifically to protect the GAW Academy. At that time, it was just starting, so there was a lot of questions about whether wrestlers from Storm would get involved or how they would feel about this whole thing, and Nightfall immediately starts off last ride style powerbomb from the big man. So there was a lot of concern about things like that, and Eddie Hernandez felt it necessary to bring in Lars Nightfall. Maybe it's not going quite as well as Hernandez had hoped. Granted, to be fair to Hernandez, I'm not quite sure that even he could foresee how much support the GAW Academy has gotten when you see the loyalty in our comment sections over on Twitter. Cover here from Nightfall. Guys like Derek Cole, Kurt Andrews, Lancelot. Go check those guys out on Twitter right now. I've been retweeting them on my personal account over at Griff from GA. So we've been talking with them. When you see the support in our Discord, which you can join over on our website right now, generaladmissionwrestling.com, when you see all that, maybe Hernandez didn't foresee how popular this would be. Look at this standing surfboard stretch by Lars Nightfall. The size of this man. Scott Danielson is not a small man. And Danielson is eventually able to free himself, but that is Lars Nightfall just asserting his will over the former Academy champion. We'll see Max Ultimate go up against Stefford Drummond in our main event, a grudge match of sorts. We're going to see Sophia Sweetness with Lazara in her corner back in action. And coming up next, we're going to see Friday's challenger for the Intercontinental Championship, Will Ospreay, in his final tune-up. Danielson. This is real strength, the real man's military press. That's a big man in Lars Nightfall that he just hoisted up with basically no effort at all, and Nightfall with basically no effort at all kicks out. That is a dangerous man. That is a dangerous man. Danielson, he's got Nightfall up. He's looking for the Blade Runner. Nightfall wriggles his way out of it. That is some remarkable agility from Lars Nightfall. Talk about remarkable agility. jumping thrust kick. When was the last time you saw a man that big do that? And that is something that underground wrestling is all about. We say it every time. It's about unpredictability, variability, versatility. And Lars Nightfall embodies those traits as well. We know Midnight does. We talked about it all the time. Nightfall, I think he was going for the neck. He may have been looking for Nightmare. Scott Danielson, he was too quick for that. And Nightfall, again, he's got the throat. But Scott Danielson works his way out of it. That's what he needs to do. Well done from Scott Danielson. You know he did his homework. This is an experienced man. Spent a long time fighting. And he was the champion at the beginning of the Storm Chaser tournament. When you go back to last season, if you've been with us, when the Storm Chaser tournament began, that was the genesis of all of this for the GAW Academy. And Scott Danielson was the champion at the time, so that's how people got to know the king of old school. And you can see how old school he really is. Wow. Devastating striking combination, and Danielson was trying to hit him with something else, but Lars Nightfall over into the corner. That's well done. Danielson now neck breaker. No, he went for a forearm right to the back of the neck. Lars Nightfall face first into the ropes. Danielson kick to the gut blocked, and Nightfall comes back in. That is a big man lariat from Lars Nightfall, who now is drawing a lot of the ire from the crowd. You would think that the man specifically brought in by Eddie Hernandez would be a little bit more likable. Not if he does that. Nightmare from Lars Nightfall and Scott Danielson. No, sir. You're not getting up from that. This is the man taking on Jackal in the main event of Storm Chaser coming up next Monday. And I'll tell you what, I don't think anyone really wants to face Lars Nightfall right now. It's not that you want to, it's that you have to. Jackal certainly has to, given the mood that Jason Parker is in dealing with both of these men. Doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of post-match shenanigans from Nightfall. I mean, he did win today, so that's really all you need. With Nightfall, a couple Nightmare attempts thwarted by Scott Danielson, but he could not avoid the third, and Nightfall once again standing tall and looking like maybe the most dangerous man in the company. Hanson of War Machine has gotten into the singles ranks a little bit following an injury to his partner, so we haven't seen War Machine fight as a tag team in a little bit. Former tag team champions, but they have not been great over the last number of months in GAW, and I think maybe part of that is Rowe was dealing with some injury problems while that was going on. So Hanson moving more into the singles ranks a little bit. He was entered into the GAW Christmas party last year, and maybe he will be again this year, and now he's got an opportunity to go up against Will Ospreay, a man who's got himself an Intercontinental Championship match on Storm in just a couple days. So if Hanson is to get a win here, I mean, Ospreay would still have that match, but Hanson would have a lot to say if Ospreay were to win the Intercontinental Championship, and even if he weren't. So this is actually a pretty big opportunity for Hanson right now, when he's going to be stuck in the singles ranks for the foreseeable future. Will Ospreay, of course, no stranger to the Intercontinental Championship. Talk about a legendary run. Ospreay had that, and maybe not for the length, only 74 days, but to unify the title with the Cruiserweight Championship, and then the number of defenses that he managed in those 74 days. It was really something special for Will Ospreay, and so he hopes to do that same thing, sort of avenge himself by proxy by beating the man who beat Bobby Lashley. Bandito wants to get his reign started off hot, and he's going to do it against one of the men that you would consider to be a very dangerous opponent for Bandito's specific style, given Ospreay's incredible athleticism. We're going to see a little bit of that here as Ospreay comes in. Incredible speed, incredible pace in his matches. Now, I got to say, I disrespected Will Ospreay a little bit, because on Storm Chaser, I was talking about how Midnight is defending his Raw Championship at a clip that we have never seen before. He's averaging 1 defense every 15 days. Well, Will Ospreay, he is doing something similar, actually. His clip was a little bit more. He was defending his Intercontinental Championship once every 13 days when he held it. 6 successful defenses in 74 days as champion. So Ospreay actually was the most fearless champion that we've seen in GAW. Will Ospreay handspring, Os Cutter. 1 minute in, and Will Ospreay just pulls that out of nowhere. Hanson still kicks out. That's a tough position to be in, and that Os Cutter is vicious. Will Ospreay, I'm gonna go right now through the names that Will Ospreay beat during his title reign. Yunsan Park, Zack Sabre Jr., Walter, Sin Cara, Hanson, and Keith Lee. Talk about a murderer's row of opponents, and yes, Hanson did have an opportunity to win a singles title here. Ospreay, shooting star press from the aerial assassin. That is absolutely picture perfect. Hanson kicks out again. Ospreay knows the big man very well, and in fact, it was those matches against Walter, Hanson, and Keith Lee that really woke people up to how much Will Ospreay has changed himself in order to become Intercontinental Champion. One of the most athletic cruiserweight champions in history, one of the most athletic wrestlers in history, but he really changed himself. Oh, diving crossbody from the top. He really changed himself and his body to be able to fight for the Intercontinental Championship, or to be able to compete with the bigger men. He felt that even though his wrestling skill was where he wanted it to be, he was just being overpowered by the bigger wrestlers. So he went into the gym and he made some changes. Made the changes in the gym, made the changes on the training mat, and it paid dividends for him. So now Ospreay considered one of the best wrestlers in GAW. Hanson with a leg lariat. Well, that'll sit anyone down. I don't care how much muscle you've added. Will Ospreay kicks out. Of course, Will Ospreay, an incredible athlete. He just got bigger. Hanson is an incredible athlete for his size, 300 pounds. And Hanson looking for a Samoan death driver, but Will Ospreay, he countered that quickly, knew what was coming. Beautifully done. Hanson, for 300 pounds, is as good an athlete as you will ever see. But that's also something that he has, I don't want to say removed from his game, but changed about his game, really in GAW. But his initial run with Rowe as part of War Machine, he was a powerhouse. Will Ospreay with another Os Cutter. And that is a move that will take down any powerhouse in the business, but Hanson kicked out again. Will Ospreay can't believe it. He thought he had that one. Thought he had it locked up, but Ospreay knows better than most that Hanson cannot be put away by just anything. Boot to the gut, caught by the 300-pounder, and look at the strength. Hanson with a single-arm spine buster. In his original tag team championship reign, he focused in on that power and that strength, and that leg lariat caught Will Ospreay right in the throat. Ospreay kicked out. Hanson was on the cusp of a huge win right there over a man about to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. Ospreay on the shoulders again. That Samoan death driver may be coming, and Ospreay once again shakes it off. This is a tremendous back and forth affair here. Hanson holding his own against the man who is probably the favorite right now. If you were talking about anyone to win the Golden Ring, to join Kenny Omega Will Ospreay might be the favorite to do it. He's still got a long way to go, of course. Still got to win that big one. Still got to win the World Championship. And some of the best wrestlers in the world went their entire careers without winning that title. Hanson may have designs on his first singles title in GAW. His time with War Machine, at least when they were tag team champions, was one of the most devastating tag team reigns we've seen. I don't mean their second one. Their second reign lasted just 39 days. Their first reign, however, 322 days, 7 defenses. Hanson with a moonsault. Oh, wow. I said that Hanson may be removing some of that athletic stuff from his game, but apparently not. Boot caught in a lariat. He does not want to remove that athleticism from his arsenal, and look at how dangerous of a weapon it could be. It's a high-risk, high-reward situation when it comes to Hanson. Now he's just toying with Will Ospreay. Into the corner he goes, looking for a lariat. Ospreay out of the way, too quick. Ospreay with a neck breaker. This is what Will Ospreay has been able to do. Incredible athleticism, and now Ospreay looking for the Tower of London. Hanson, oh man. Overhand double Mongolian chop finds its mark on the chest. And now Hanson once again asserting that power. Hanson and Rowe, as part of War Machine, took on some of the best tag teams in the world, the Good Brothers, the Revival, the Young Bucks, even and I'm not even joking about this, Willie Mack and Kenny Omega. Yes, that was a brief tag team in GAW, and they were almost tag team champions. Will Ospreay up to his feet with under 3 minutes to go. Hanson gets him up, trying to get him on the shoulders, and Will Ospreay once again just too quick for him. Ospreay, talk about being too quick. Ospreay gets him up onto the shoulders. Incredible strength here. Stormbreaker. And that is a message to Bandito. Look at how quick that can happen. And if it does, if Bandito is caught in that Stormbreaker, we're going to have a new Intercontinental Champion come Friday. You can bet that Bandito knows that very well. He knows exactly what will happen if those double underhooks are locked in. If he goes up on that shoulder, then that is a short and sweet title reign for Bandito. But it's going to be much easier said than done to actually get Bandito in that position. All I know is you're talking about two of the best athletes on planet Earth, and you can sign me up right now. I can't wait for that match on Friday. I always like seeing Martina Del Sol out here. I know that she hasn't had a ton of success so far in GAW as she's still getting used to the sport of professional wrestling. She's still doing some training. I mean, she is one of the hardest workers. She's in the training room all the time. But what I like about Martina Del Sol is she brings a very unique outlook to professional wrestling. Given her background, we don't have a single other beach volleyball player in GAW. In fact, I don't know any other beach volleyball players who even wrestle at all. So Del Sol does bring in a very unique perspective on how to approach matches, and her athletic style is always very appealing to watch. It's a very attractive style of wrestling. So I always enjoy seeing Martina, and I do genuinely hope that as she continues to get more experience in pro wrestling, that she continues to maybe pile up some more wins. I'm sure Sophia Sweetness would hope for the same thing, and with that woman in her corner, you can bet that success is not so far away. We saw Sophia Sweetness go up against a former opponent in Suzuki back on Storm Chaser a couple weeks ago, and Sophia got her first GAW win with the help of Lazara, who really talked her through it. Lazara has taken Sophia under her wing, and she's Lazara, former Academy champion, really been able to get to Sophia Sweetness and really, I would say, really help her to understand the finer aspects of her game, what she needs to do, what she needs to maximize. That's all been Lazara. And that'll really help here in this match against Martina Del Sol. Sophia needs to know how to approach someone with such an unconventional style as Del Sol. Up into the corner goes Sweetness, and Martina caught her as she goes through. Martina pulls her back, but an easy kick out from Sophia Sweetness. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Martina is so quick. And Lazara knows that better than anyone. I mean, she's faced Martina Del Sol. She has helped train Martina Del Sol, as a matter of fact. Lazara is one of the most experienced female wrestlers in general admission wrestling, so she has really helped out Martina Del Sol, so she knows exactly what she brings to the table. And now Sophia Sweetness with a wheelbarrow into the Bulldog. That's something that Lazara's been working with her. Talking about strategic use of that athleticism. A big sticking point that Sophia has really tried to work on here with the help of Lazara is Lazara telling her, you can't go at 1,000% the whole match. You'll just tire yourself out. And when you think about it, there are a handful of wrestlers on the planet, maybe not even, that can go at a really, really high pace all match. I mean, you can count them probably on one hand. You're talking about Ray Phoenix, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, maybe. I mean, it is a very short list of wrestlers that can go 100% all match. So Lazara just trying to keep Sophia smart here. Trying to tell her this is what you need to be able to do, and this kicking combination in the corner has been devastating for Sophia. You want to talk about being quick. We've seen that from her before, and now Sophia going for the neck choke again. That kicking combination into the choke is actually how she beat Suzuki back on Storm Chaser, so that is effective for Sophia Sweetness, and it's not something that you would expect from her. Sophia trying to take the back in. Del Sol with a standing switch. That is well done from Martina. We know that the devastating red eye is in Martina's arsenal as well, so what might she be able to do with it? Forearm shot, and Del Sol again sends Sophia into the corner. This would be a big win for Martina Del Sol as well, just to get her name back into the mouths of GAW fans, because Sophia Sweetness has been talked about a lot because of her association with Lazara. So it's a smart play from Sophia as well, because I don't know if a young rookie like her would be getting the amount of would be getting so many people talking about her the way that they are now that she's with Lazara. Lazara is the story. Former Academy champion, main eventer at Bash at the Beach. A fan favorite and one of the best wrestlers in general admission wrestling. This is where Martina Del Sol can really leverage something here, but Sophia Sweetness, she's not going to let her. Sweetness knew what she needed to do, and Sophia wanted to get that one last shot in on Martina, and it was a big one. Back body drop. Martina hits the floor with her entire back, and now Sophia with a sweet shot. Talk about playing the game smart. Sophia was thinking about that one. And who might have taught her to use her surroundings like that? Might it have been the former Academy champion? Huh. I don't know, folks. You think Lazara helped out with that one? You can just see the transformation of Sophia Sweetness. You can see what Lazara has done for her. Wow, this was a great performance from Sophia Sweetness, and I'm just more impressed at how well she has taken those lessons from Lazara. And you can see that Sophia, I mean, she is happy. When she came in, it's not like she was super serious before, but this is as happy as I've seen her, getting these wins, knowing that she's improving, seeing the tangible results of that improvement, courtesy of Lazara. this could be the beginning of a big-time career for Sophia Sweetness. Coming up next, though, our main event features another rookie that just debuted a few months ago. You will not want to miss this.
How did you find a way to run from the city of...
Stefford Drummond was less than respectful to Max Ultimate the last time these two stood face-to-face in a wrestling ring, and Ultimate apparently has not forgotten. So good for the young Bostonian to pull Stefford Drummond into a match like this. We just saw Drummond push Yunsan Park to the limit this past Monday on Storm Chaser. He's made quite a career at this point in GAW of doing that. He did the same to Eddie Hernandez. So you pair him up with an Academy legend, it seems like he knows exactly what he's doing. But when you pair him up with a young rookie in Max Ultimate, I mean, you talk about a man who has just 10 matches in his entire GAW career. I don't know if Drummond's going to be able to really withstand that kind of punishment. Ultimate's already beat him once, and Ultimate says, I don't want anything, I don't want weapons, I don't want anything in this match except me and Stefford Drummond one-on-one. So he's going to make Stefford Drummond prove that he can beat him. Max Ultimate has drawn praise from a whole lot of fans because of his turnaround, what he's been able to do. In fact, his only loss in the last, I think, 2 months for him since Bash at the Beach came because of Stefford Drummond. Ultimate was taking on Scott Danielson on Storm Chaser, and it seemed like he had the match won, but Stefford Drummond got himself involved and gave the match to Scott Danielson after a get a job to Max Ultimate. So this for Ultimate, again, a revenge match, an opportunity for him to show that the fans that you hear and see behind him, that makes all the difference. And I believe it certainly does. Ultimate immediately starts out hot, and that's what you want to see from the young Max Ultimate. 2 knees right to the gut of Stefford Drummond. And this is what Ultimate needs to be able to do. Drummond, if he's going to have any chance in this match, he's got to shut down Max Ultimate's main forms of attack. His main offensive advantages. That's what he's got to be able to do. And he's going to have to do that with his strength. Max Ultimate's athleticism and quickness are his best assets. Stefford Drummond can counter that with the strength that he possesses. Some might say old man strength. I wouldn't say that. But some might. Either way, he's got the ability. Max Ultimate has the versatility. And apparently he's got the turnbuckles on his side. The turnbuckles turncoat on Stefford Drummond. Usually Drummond likes to use those turnbuckles. Max Ultimate into the first cover here, and Stefford Drummond with an easy kick out. I almost want to say that this match means more for Ultimate than it does for Stefford. I'm not saying that Stefford is not going to try his best to win this match, but in terms of who has more to prove and who really cares about this match, I think Ultimate cares a lot more, because Ultimate is the one who has attached this to the fans, and he said the fans are the reason why we're having this match, and he said the fans are the reason why I've been able to improve. So he has a lot riding on this. Stefford Drummond, frankly, I know that he doesn't care about what the fans think. He doesn't care if the fans want him to win or not. Strike parried by Max Ultimate. He catches him with that big right. Irish whip into the corner goes Drummond, and we know that Ultimate is dangerous coming out of here. Ultimate springboard roundhouse. Gets around the guard of Stefford Drummond as well. Drummond put his hand up to block. Ultimate just completely bypasses it. Hits him right in the jaw, and now Max Ultimate up onto the shoulders. Stefford Drummond, max damage. Drummond has just been caught. Just like that, Ultimate, leg hooked, Max Ultimate. Talk about a statement. What can Stefford Drummond say about that? Nothing you can do. Max Ultimate with the max damage. And what can you do about a guy who can do this? You can see that's a great look. Drummond just bypasses the guard of Stefford Drummond, and then a max damage right to the small of the back. And Drummond, you can see he can't even move after the 2 knees, right to the spine. That max damage has been up and down for Ultimate, but in this scenario, oh boy did it work. And Stefford Drummond, he's got nothing to say. Max Ultimate has proven the one doubter wrong, and look at the fans listen to him. You know how much this means to Max Ultimate. Folks, thank you so much for joining us here on GAW Dark. Catch us on Friday Night Storm, a huge Intercontinental Championship match. Main events the show. You're going to have to subscribe so you can see it. Check out our Spotify in the link in the description. Check out our website, generaladmissionwrestling.com, also in the description. We'll see you on Friday. We appreciate you.